Hey everyone, welcome to my studio.
All right, it's crunch time on these mirrors. I want to finish this black one. I'm waiting on some tiles, and I'm waiting on some tiles for the gray one, but I need to get this one started so that when the tiles come, I can finish it rather quickly. Because next week I need to drop them off, which means I'll need to be grouting at least by the end of this week. So let me get after it here. Tiles, it would really be ideal if they fit perfectly, especially with these longer ones that are edging it. But of course they don't. They are a little bit off. And so what I've been doing is I want the ones that are at the corners to be nice whole pieces. And so I've trimmed some in the middle, just a little bit so that you can't tell. For instance, this one, the fourth one over, is the one that I've trimmed just a bit off so that they all fit in better. And that way it disappears just a little bit. It would be better to trim two just a little bit than to trim one a lot, because then it would stand out more. Now these tiles are called mosaic sticks. I got them from Mosaic Art Supply, and one side is the bottom. So each time I pick one up, I have to sort of check it over and make sure that I have the bottom on the bottom, and that takes an extra second when I'm placing them. Have arrived, and they are these triangles. Well worth the wait. I don't have to cut anything. They look great, they fit great, and I knew they would because I used a similar triangle here on the white one to fit in that space, and it's just super great. So while I ordered that, I also ordered, I don't really need them, but I ordered some rounds in black iridized to maybe use in the background there, so we'll see how they look. There's just a few things to consider when making these mirrors, and one of them is, do I have enough material to go all the way around? So on the first mirror that I did, which was the white one, I physically laid out all the tiles to make sure that I had enough to go all the way around the whole thing. And by the time I got to these, I sort of knew, oh, this package is enough or whatever. So with experience, you kind of get that feeling, which is good. And then second of all, there are some areas where, like these corners, where I have to figure out how I'm going to put the tile around these weird paisley type teardrop shapes, because a triangle doesn't fit or whatever. So that is something I need to figure out beforehand. And on this one, I want to use the same colors, these triangles, and all I have are the triangles. So I'm cutting the triangles to fit those shapes. On the white one, I had a lot of white tiles that were different, so I just figured out a way to use some different ones in there. I think I cut that. This one's a big one that's cut in half, and that's the only one that's cut there. And this one fit because it's a more simple design, and then this one I was able to just go around the corner quite easily with that design. So I think I'm going to be using some black mirror that I have, or I think it's called Silverback by Spectrum, and it's in a very, very dark gray or black color. So I'm going to use that in here in triangle shapes. That's my plan. So after I cut some and try it out, I'll see if I like it. I also have these little circles that maybe I'll sprinkle in there because I think that'll be quite interesting. So I'll check to see if I like it with and without the circles, and then I'll make that decision. Back over here to this design, I have room for a bead in this little area at the top of that teardrop. So I have to go look through my beads and see if I can find one that would be the right color to use there. Looking closer at that little space where I want the bead, I've looked at some different beads that I have in gray, like this one, and it's just too finicky and too low once I have the bead in there. I do, however, have 2 strands of this faceted bead, which is very, very pretty. And I'm looking at it both ways. I think it's gonna have a tendency to want to go with the whole side up, and that is a nice look, but it's a little bit low. And then when I grout, I'm going to have to sort of dig it out in order to see it. And so what I'm going to attempt to do is to put it on its side. That way I will get the sparkle, and when I go to grout, I will still be able to see that without having to dig into that area very much. So that's a lot of work to make sure all the beads are on the same edge sticking up, but I think it's going to be worth it because it's going to add just that little bit of sparkle all the way around. That's it. Piecing this. I think it looks great. Now it's time to move on to the next one. For this one, I'm putting this is the black mirrored glass, and I have just cut some strips that fit in here so that I know how many I need to cut down into triangles, because I don't want to cut excess glass up if I don't have to. And here are my little rounds, which I haven't tried out yet. I have to cut some triangles first. I get my braid and nippers out for any job where I do repetitive cuts. Just saves my hand a bit. I've laid a small section out and I put some of the dots in there, and I am 100% not loving it. I think I'm going to cut the triangles into smaller pieces and see if that does the trick. All right, that took a little bit of playing with, but I think what I'm going to do is put a whole row of the circles and then fill in with small triangles. I like that look, and it's nice and sparkly, and I think that's much better than the bigger triangles with circles interspersed. That just wasn't working, but that looks pretty good. I like that. I just finished this and I love how it turned out. It's so sparkly and great. It did take quite a bit of time to do that triangle stuff, so I'm really glad that I put the row of dots to just kind of make that smaller. And it was like doing a puzzle though, so it was kind of fun. It just wasn't fast, that's all. I will let this cure, and in a couple days I will come back and grout it along with my other ones. That's it. It's been a few days and I am mixing up some black fortified grout, sanded grout, for my mirrors. I'm going to do them two at a time. I'm going to start with the gold and the blue as far as grouting, and then I'll move on to the gray and black after these two are done and the mess cleaned up from this. That's it. This is my favorite spreader for small projects. It's a blue finishing rubber for ceramics. This one, I had quite a lot of digging out to do around these leaves because they're lower than the tempered glass that's next to them. So that was quite a bit of work, but I finally got it done. I used the toothbrush and the grout brush, and I used this pick to clean it all up. And now I'm going to set this aside because I'm grouting the other two, and then I'll put all the mirrors in and clean the mirrors, and it's going to be magnificent. So there's the gold one. There's the blue one all done. I have to say, the blue one really came alive. It looks so much better grouted than before. Before it was a little bit, but now that all the pieces are sort of outlined with grout, it just looks amazing. Some ornaments for the Christmas market to drop off next week. And I found this base at Michael's, and then I just spray painted it on both sides with black enamel paint. It takes quite a while for that black enamel spray paint to dry, so I did that, I don't know, a week or so ago. And they're ready now to receive whatever. And look at what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna create a series using these pieces. I bought these to put on the mirror, and then I didn't like the color on the mirror, so I think it'd be great for Christmas though. So I'm going to use these, and I'm just going to make a series of ornaments using these and red glass. That looks orange. Red glass. There we go. I'm using a 6000 for this because these pieces are a little bit rounded here, and they need a really strong adhesive to hold them in place. I was looking at these, and this one in particular, I thought I need a little round piece of glass there, and then I remembered I had fritballs. So instead of just stained glass and these things, I'm going to put fritballs and stained glass in these things. That's it. right, I went ahead and taped these off, and now I'm going to grout them with black sanded grout. Here we go. Now to finish these up, I'll be drilling a hole and putting a ribbon, and I may even put a bead on there just to make it special. I'll have to see what sort of beads I have, either red or this brassy gold color. But before I tackle that, I want these to sort of sit up a little bit more and let that grout firm up. And in the meantime, I have this Sacred Heart that I finished a while back. This was a sample piece I did for a conference, and I just happened to finish it. I have got black grout mixed up, and I'm just going to do this middle part. I'm not going to do the background. That will be done in another color. So I'm going to set these aside, move them out of the way, so that I can grout this one next. And I don't like to tape things off. Now, these were really easy because I could just two strip. But to go around this would take some time. And so anytime I have something like this, where I'm going to use two different grouts, and it's more of an organic shape, where it would take a long time to tape off, so I just go ahead and grout it, but I do so very carefully. And the key to doing this is the direction that you push the grout. So I'm going to push it in by hand instead of using my tool. And I'm going to start at the edge and go towards the middle. And while a little bit of grout might get on that outside part, I can just clean it up pretty easily as long as it's not in the spaces. Great. I'm finished with the black part. I'm actually not going to finish grouting this. I often get orders for Sacred Hearts, so I'm going to wait until someone orders it or until I'm grouting with a lighter color before I finish the grout on this. And you can see if you look closely that a little bit of the dark grout fell in there, but it will easily be covered by the lighter grout. And this may be something where I tape off this part to do the outside because it's such a contrast of the grouts, but we'll see. All right, I bought this board out so that I can put my ornament on the edge to drill the hole right there. And I have these beads and I have this ribbon, but the hole is really, really small in these beads. So I'm not totally positive I'll be able to use the beads, but I think the red ribbon at the top will be very pretty. And let me get after it. No idea how I got those beads on there. I've been trying and trying and I cannot get a bead on there again. So instead I'm just going to put the ribbon in, and maybe if I really want beads, I can just wire them through there. And I'm fine without beads at this point. great about these ornaments is that the small area on there makes them lightweight and relatively easy and fast to make. Yay, the last step on these mirrors is to clean the actual mirror and to put it in the back of the frame. I bought these frames at an estate sale. They weren't very much, and then I went to a mirror shop and had them cut the mirror and put it in there for me. So now it's all set to go, and I can't wait to see what they look like with the mirror in, because it makes such a huge difference. All right, I hung a mosaic in my space, and the reason I'm telling you that is because when I went to show the mirror, you could see it upside down, and I was like, what? Here it is. Came out great. This is the first one. I'm just gonna knock out the rest real quick here. Here's the black mirror frame. You know, you could take that mirror out if you wanted and maybe put a picture in there, I guess. I didn't adhere the mirrors in there permanently with silicone or anything. Here's the blue one. One more to go, the gold one. Putting it together. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.